Welcome back, fans and friends. For this upcoming video, I have 3 chargers, all from Greenlight. Those 2 in the background are not the chargers, they will just be compared to. So, due to an incident, I have already taken them out of the package. However, I will briefly go over them so that we all know there is nothing sinister or suspicious going on. So the first one, and all 3 of them are hot pursuits. So I'm going to go over the basic, the top half, the bottom half to all 3. Just point some things out and then move on. So as we can all see, this is the 36th series of hot pursuit from Greenlight. There's the Greenlight up there, and it's the New Hampshire State Police. So it looks like this. However, I will go into it a little bit more in depth in just a few minutes, and it's 8 plus 164. And in this series, we have the Milwaukee Police Department. I've already done a Matador, so I'm not going to get that one for sure. Plus, I rarely saw it on shelves. So, and plus, how old this series is, probably not going to be easy to find. 1974 Golf MK1, Volkswagen, the 1982 Ford Mustang ASSP. I already have a few of these, so I'm not doing any more. A Crown Victoria is coming up. I have one, but I don't know if it's this one. And the New Hampshire Police Dodge Charger, which is this one. And the 2020 Ford Police Interceptor. So the only important thing besides the sponsors or licenses from this packaging is the 240 from 20 and this number to make sure it is the same. And as we can see there, it is 240020, and the 14562 WB number is exactly the same. So the next one will be another Dodge Charger package. It is the Nevada Highway Patrol State Troopers vehicles from Series 41. And for some unknown reason, this one is 14 plus. As we saw in the other package, it's 8 plus. So the Chargers look almost identical. So do they just do this randomly, or who knows? In this series, 41, we will have a 1994 Taurus. I do have one of these, but it's from a Black Bandit series coming up soon. 1993 Ford Mustang SSP. I've already done the white version of that. I'm not going to do this one. Or it might have actually been this one. So yeah, I actually did this one. 2018 Ram from Indiana State Police. We have this one, the 2019 Dodge Charger. 19 Dodge Durango from Philadelphia Police. And the Florida Highway Patrol State Trooper, the 2021 Police Interceptor. So I've done the Police Interceptor already from a previous series. And as we can see there's the 2020. So they do reuse a lot of them, as we all know. And this car looks like this. It is an all silver trim. It is actually the only police one I have with different colored lights. The other 2 are a plain plastic see-through. And finally, the last Dodge Charger is from a Hot Pursuit Series 42. So the one after that still had a Dodge Charger in it. Everything else is pretty much the same, 14 plus 164. So I guess if it's the New Hampshire, you have to be over 8 years old, but the other ones you can be over 14. And that's from this year release, so 104.22. We will just take 10 seconds to look underneath it. It does say that, 104.022. And the 14562 number is the same. It's interesting that this one is a Dodge Charger Pursuit, but the other 2 are just plain Dodge Chargers. They don't say anything else. And as we can see beside the green light is the limited edition number. It is 0860. So it is in fact a limited edition. And other than that, we have the Dodge Diplomat 1985 for New York State, the 1992 Crown Victoria Interceptor from South Dakota, City of North Pole, Alaska, 2017 Ford Police Interceptor Utility. So that would be the same as the other 2, the 2020 and 2021. This car. And we have the 2021 Chevy Silverado from Massachusetts. And then finally, we have the Houston Metro Police, which would be the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Police Pursuit Vehicle. So, we already covered, the 104.22 is the only other thing we need to know. The only difference is the first series will have Volkswagen and Chrysler instead of just Ram. So, I will quickly go over each of the vehicles individually, things I like and don't like about them. We will start with obviously the right side. I do like the wheels on this one. So it looks like the all steel wheels. We have State Trooper written on the side there, and you can hear the police sirens in the background because I live in the city. The State Police is rather easy to read, nicely printed on just in front of the front door. So just quickly, the symbol here, I don't understand. And you have the symbol there. You see how it's in the middle of the door for both of these? I don't understand why it is not in the middle of the door, like right down here for this one. You see it's kind of weird. But anyway, I'll cover that a little bit later. We have the back, the light is nice and even, Dodge is clearly printed on. We have something on the license plate. It says State Police 692. I don't know what the state slogan is for New Hampshire, but it is legible. You just need a magnifying glass, so I will not read it. Maybe later in another video I might do it, but anyway. There's the gas cap, the only difference between the two sides, the wheels there. It doesn't look like there are too many production defects. There's State Trooper again, the United States flag. And onto the front, one thing I noticed is that little extra piece of plastic. We can all see there. It's not too noticeable, but it does sort of take away. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of it. A little bit of a paint issue there. And I've covered 2 Dodge Chargers in the past. These two, it is exactly identical. All 5 of these cars share the same base. The only major thing that will be different actually between those two, let's just say these 2 commercial Chargers and these 3 Chargers, is the engine for these 3 Chargers is all the same. But the engine from the Scat Pack and the Hellcat is different from the Hemis in these ones. I'm going to pop the hood, but I won't talk about it just yet. And as we can see, I brought this up before, where because the hood happens to be in the middle of the upper body, it is rather difficult. So just use the piece of plastic. This is from the hitch and tow I did a while ago, Silverado and a Camaro. And finally, the last Dodge Charger to quickly cover is this one here. And as we can all see, the hood does not want to stay up. It is fairly loose, while the hoods for those two are very well done. So I don't understand, the newest one has the worst hood. So the last thing to bring up is the large amount of window issues. I've said how a lot of other vehicles that I've had recently have very good plastic for the windows. This one has, you can see there, a bunch of defects. Maybe it's just these ones, but who knows. There's a bunch of scratches and whatnot, and it's just out of character. We can see there. And this one is heavily tinted, plus you can see the issues with the window there, that chafing there. And there's the symbol. And what I was talking about the symbol is, we see how it's nice and centered. It's not centered on that door. So I think it just might be the way they paint the car, but otherwise it just looks kind of weird. So this Charger, as opposed to all those other Chargers, has completely different wheels. So I will bring that up in about 30 seconds. But we can see here the clear light. The only major difference between it, this one has the multiple parts of it, but they're all colored differently. And this one is halfway. It has the multiple parts, but they're all clear. So this one is just one big piece of plastic, and it's not painted. Rear view mirrors, all these Chargers have rear view mirrors, and the front windshield is very clear, but it has that little defect there. Not terribly serious. So finally, with this Charger, like I said before, you can see the wheels, how small they are, and how thin they are. Every other Dodge Charger here has this much bigger wheel, much wider wheel, much taller wheel. Why that is important is because this one is the pursuit model of this car, yet every other car here has the large racing type wheels. So I don't know what to say. Just bring it up. But if I do happen to like these steel wheels, I know I can take them off and they'll be interchangeable with every single vehicle here. All of the Chargers appear to have that defect I was pointing out earlier. That it's that little extra piece of plastic. And as we can see, I'm pointing to them. All 3 of them have it. So it's an issue with this front piece that's added to the vehicle itself. It is not simply that one mold issue. And as we can see there, the Connecticut one is the only one with Dodge written on the front left side of the hood. Sorry, the grille. The other 2 do not have that. So if you guys and girls are thinking of getting it because that looks really nice, just keep in mind this New Hampshire one is the only one. It's one of the small differences between the others. As we can see, the lights are extremely similar. And yeah, except this one happens to be all painted in, I guess because it's a slightly newer vehicle, but it's the major difference is between that. So having covered all of that, I'm just going to briefly go over the engines. As we know, these two, that's a Hellcat, that's the Scat Pack. Every single vehicle here is technically a Hemi engine. And as we can see there, it says 5.7 liter V8, and then Hemi on the top and bottom of the engine, and the hose that connects it to the front of the car. That is the first one. The second one, exactly the same. Hemi on both sides, V8 and 5.7 liter. And then finally, the newest one is the most poorly done. It is almost completely illegible. Just the Hemi we can read. You can see there Hemi. But then if you look at it, the engine on the top of it has painting defects. So it has a hinge defect, like that. You can see. It's not supposed to move like that. It has the paint defect there, and it has the most visible defect on the bottom there. I don't know what to say. But otherwise, these three vehicles all share the same Hemi 5.7 liter engine, even though this one you can barely read it. So, fans and friends, if you do want the Hot Pursuit chargers, they're everywhere. Like I said, this is 2 consecutive series, 41 and 42, and that is series 36. All have Dodge chargers, all a little bit different. This one is the worst done in terms of very plain, poorly painted on. This might just be my experience, but who knows. And the last thing to do is the roll test. So I'm going to drive them with the hood on, and we can see this one has sort of a wobble. It moves, but it has a wobble. So what I think it is if you can see there, the wheel, it's not straight. This one is not. You can see the difference. When I do that, look how much it rolls. And this one just comes to a stop immediately. So I will take that apart and fix it. It's not difficult. This one, the rolls even less and even more of a wobble. So it seems to me the oldest one. And you see that right there? The pin, the axle, is not straight. The wheels, I think, are okay, but you can see it even rolls less than the other one. The back wheels, they seem to do very well, but the front wheels, look at that, it doesn't want to roll. And then last but not least is this one, which has a huge amount of other issues. It also is different in terms of the wheels are different. So is it going to roll? Is it not going to roll? We're going to find out in 2 seconds. It goes. And it doesn't appear to have the same wobble. So what I mean wobble is, you know, that it does that little jerk from side to side, as you can see there. The other thing too, I didn't point out, and I'll just cover it quickly, all the wheels on this one are not properly painted, and that's another common Greenlight issue. I think they're all painted on this one. See how that's how they're supposed to be painted. Uniformly, I want to say properly, but they're all supposed to be a uniform black. They're all steel type wheels, and this one has bits of silver. Things are shaved off on the edge there. So other than that, like I said, everything else here is identical to the GL muscle chargers. We can see the gas tank on the bottom, the GL 161 in the bottom right, just above the right side muffler. So right there. And the Hellcat is exactly the same as well. So if you're thinking about getting a Dodge Charger from Greenlight, I highly recommend the GL muscle versions rather than this. It might just be my buying experience, but the most different of all these chargers is this one here. It has different wheels, this very plain siren, not siren, the lights. And other than that, I mean, they're almost all identical. I will have to do something about that, because if it contacts the rim here, the car will not roll. Not really serious. The other thing too is if we look inside there, it has a lip on the back, and it shouldn't have that. That's just poor metal filing. One of these ones, you can see there how terrible it is on the left side of the vehicle. So right here, you shouldn't have all that extra metal. And hopefully this one, yeah, you see this one has it even worse. So I don't know if the Scat Pack has it. It didn't appear to have it. You see, yeah, you see, look, what I mean, they filed it down on this one. But for some unknown reason, for these police ones, they have not filed it down. Again, they filed it down for the, I want to say premium, the GL muscle versions, but they have not done any of those quality checks for these ones, which is kind of sad. So this video is running on 15 minutes. I'm hoping to cut it just short. Like I said, these chargers, for some unknown reason, as they got newer, they got worse. And honestly, if you're going to get the license plates, though, for all of them, you can see there, they've all been painted in very properly. What I mean by very properly is with a magnifying glass, you can absolutely read everything. Like, look at that. They've done such an excellent job with the license plates, but then everything else just wants to fall apart. Meanwhile, you go to the GL muscle, and you'll just get nothing. So I don't understand. There is no balance in terms of why you're going to do it on some of the vehicles and not all of the vehicles. Anyway, this is Tumnus from Toronto, bringing to you a bunch of Dodge Chargers and one Dodge Charger Pursuit, just rehashing on the earlier Hellcat and the earlier RT Scat Pack 392. These ones, except for, okay, so this one is the balance between the Mississippi one, where the hood will stay up, but it's easy to close. While this one, it doesn't want to stay up. And this one, it doesn't want to close. So if you're looking for a Dodge Charger, if you happen to be a fan of the vehicle, I will highly recommend your GL Muscles rather than the Hot Pursuit. The Hot Pursuit, though, for everybody, might be easier to get. If they are, if they're not, that's too bad. I have brought them to you as best as I can, as fast as I can. This is Thomas from Toronto, bringing to you the 2018, 2019, and 2020 Dodge Charger from the Hot Pursuit Series 36, 41, and 42. Thanks, Al, for watching, and till the next one.